Hi beautiful people, my name is Josephine. I'm the social media coordinator for ASIFA-South, and I am here to share with you a free open source animation software that you can use to start animating today. Now I'm sure you haven't heard of this program. It is called OpenToonz. It was originally developed in Italy and customized by a popular Japanese animation studio called Studio Ghibli. You may know of them, for they have developed films such as Princess Mononoke, The Secret World of Arrietty, and Howl's Moving Castle. And now that same software that was used to make these amazing films is free for you to download and use to create your own animations. This software is also a good substitute for softwares like Toon Boom or Adobe Animate, which are the standard animation programs that you will commonly see used within the industry. 3 types of animation that you can do on this software is frame-by-frame animation, tweening animation, and puppet animation. Each of these 3 styles of animation can be used together in conjunction with one another, as well as separately on their own. To get started with OpenToonz, you'll want to go to opentoonz.github.io, where you will be greeted with this screen. You will click on Downloads, which will bring you to the download buttons here, and you will click on OpenToonz. Make sure that your system can handle working with this software, where you will see the software requirements here just below the download buttons. You can see that it operates for both Windows and Mac. You can also scroll through the website and see that it is a software that can be used for free for both commercial and non-commercial projects, and it is an open source software that you are welcome to modify if you understand how to work code. Once you have downloaded and installed the software, you will be greeted with this screen where you have your startup menu as well as your stage to work with. For this, we are going to choose a project I have already begun, so that way you can get an idea of some of what this program is capable of. Before we get started with our animation here, there is something that you will need to set up within the program first in order to render out your animations as an MP4. You'll want to go over here to your preferences, and you will want to attach something called an Ffmpeg. Now, to gain access to the Ffmpeg, go over to your help window here where you have your online manual. In your online manual, it will pop up your user guide of how to get started, and you'll want to follow the instructions under using Ffmpeg with OpenToonz. You will be able to download the different build from here and follow the walkthrough in order to install it into your computer. Once you have downloaded the Ffmpeg into your computer, you will want to make sure that you place the pathway for that in a secure location and put the same pathway code here into this path, again following the instructions on the guide online. Now this will help you render out your animations into a fun, easy to look at format like an MP4 or a GIF that makes it easier for you to share your animation with others. So here we have our lovely Professor Apple, who will be helping us demonstrate the software today. And here we have him doing a pirouette to show the basic motion that we can have him do. What I have him doing here is something called puppet animation or cutout animation, and essentially what it is I have broken all of these different body pieces up into different parts. Like here, I have his foot that I can move around, and his body is in a separate layer as well here, which allows me to move all of the pieces together because they are connected. And you can even see that his hands are separate as well. So each piece, from the body to the face and the arms and legs and hands, are all separated out into their own individual layers, or levels as they are called in OpenToonz, which is on the side here. So one of the things that you will notice when working with this program is that the timeline here is going from top to bottom instead of left to right. You can adjust your windows, or stages as it is called, to be customized to the way you want. So this can change from up top to bottom to left to right, or you can go over here to your timeline and it is already set up for you to work with the left to right on the bottom. And also you can move each of these windows to various locations across your screen to help you adjust and work with it in the way that helps you. To give you the tour of this program, you have your toolbar to the left side. You will have your levels window where you can access your individual frames in the center here. You'll have your palette, so when you select a particular frame that you will be using, you will have your color access here, as well as you have all of your levels or layers, if you're familiar with that term, on the side here. And if you want to access other different stages, which is the window that you view here, you can come up to the top and you have a variety of ones to choose from. As well as each of these are all customizable in one way or another, like so, where you can move them around and adjust each of these windows as you need them, so that way you can easily make it convenient for yourself. Now the tools that we will be paying attention to on the toolbar on the side here is going to be our Animate tool, which is at the very top, which allows you to move an object around and be able to position it and have it transition from one position to the next very easily. Our drawing tools here, which is going to be our brush tool and our geometric tool. And then our plastic tool here at the bottom, which will allow us to add a mesh and bone structure to our various images, so that way we can easily animate it and manipulate it in ways that we want to. So the first kind of animation that we will be looking at is frame by frame. This is one of the most common animations that you have probably heard about. Classic Disney works was all done in frame by frame animation, as well as it is still a technique that is used today to create interesting and dynamic 2D posing. As you can see here, I have a water droplet that zooms across the screen from our point A to point B. Now to get started with this animation, you'll want to come over here to your levels area, and you want to right click with your mouse or your drawing pin and create a new level. You are going to name this level. We're going to name our level test for right now, and we have it set to start at the first frame of our piece, as well as the ratio width of it is going to be the size of our animation screen here. Think of it like a sheet of paper on an animation table. You'll only be able to draw as big as what you have in the screen. You can make this paper or drawing space bigger by increasing the width and size of your drawing space here. You also want to be aware of what type of level or layer you are working on. Our current default is set to Rasta level, but you can adjust it to either being a vector base or a scan layer if you are scanning in animations that you have drawn with pen and paper. I'm going to hide our droplet here, and we are going to draw a circle to start out with on this layer. Then we are going to jump somewhere around the center, and I'm going to turn on something called the onion skin. You can access the onion skin on the side bar here, where you can see all of your frames, and you can turn on your onion skin one of two ways. You can either hover just above your viewing icon here, which shows what layer you are on. So this one shows which layer we are looking at here, and I just turn this one on above and you can see it shows up in pink on my drawing space. Or let's say I'm all the way down here and I want to see what's going on up here, so you want to shift it slightly to the side and you'll be able to have this layer be seen from all the way down here, no matter where your viewing icon is. And this is great for seeing both the before and after drawings. Over here to 7, and I'll just draw my circle right here. And you can see it adds the next frame, which you can see here if you want to access just the frames and you don't want to see it with all of the rest of your layers, in this little drawing space here. And then I'm going to come all the way down here, turn that off. Well, actually, no, we'll keep it on, and we'll keep that on. So now you can see that I have two different frames that I can see. And we'll draw in a frame right here. So here you go. You can see that this moves from 3 different locations. And if I were to push play, that is what you would see from our starting point to our ending point. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look very smooth, and it looks very jumpy. Almost like the neon signs that you sometimes see in store windows. So to make it look less jumpy, we're going to go into the center of these 2 frames and draw in another circle. And we're going to repeat that with our final frame here too. So there we go. It goes from, we now have a total of 5 frames that we've drawn, and it goes from our first frame all the way to our last frame, and it moves pretty smoothly here from point A to point B. And depending on how fast or slow you want your animation to move, you can either add in more frames or you can take out different frames. So let's say I have a drawing that I already want to manipulate, change, animate in a different way, and I don't want to have to redraw every single frame that I'm working on, or change it into a vector layer for me to animate that way and use it by the point system. What you want to do is import your character into your scene here that you're working on. One way to do this is to click through your file browser window here. If you don't have it as part of your main stage here, you can always go up to Windows, and it is right there that you can open up at any time at your leisure. From this file window, you'll be able to access the different locations in your computer, such as your documents, your My Computer, and go directly through to your C drive and access things that way. You can go over to your File Explorer and drag and drop an image into your workspace. And you want to make sure that you choose import and not load, because import will keep the image with the project files that you're working with, making it easier for you to access, and it will help the computer not forget. It will help the program not forget where the file is located, especially if you are prone to moving files around on your computer. So I already have the images that I want to work with imported into my projects section here, which you can see it's labeled ASIFA-South, and the images are going to be imported into extras. From there, you can drag and drop either directly onto your canvas or into your level. Here, we're going to go level, and you can see here that the image will pop up like so. What you want to do is you want to make sure that the image adjusts directly to your canvas. So you'll come here. So you're going to right click on your level. You're going to go to level settings. You'll have this little window pop up, and then you're going to click use camera DPI. And that way it'll adjust to your screen here. So importing all of these in, you can see this one is a bit smaller. I right click on it, go into levels, and click that, and it scales it up to the size that I need it to be. All of the files that I'm working with are set to our PNG files, so that way the background of the file can be see-through while the creature itself that I'm working with, which is Professor Apple's body here, is all in one solid color, so that way it makes it easy for me to manipulate him in any way that I want without it obscuring any of the other drawings that I'm working with. For now, we're going to stick with Professor Apple's left arm here, so that way you can get a good idea of how the plastic tool works for creating your skeleton for your puppet animation. So we have our hand and our arm here. We're going to work with the arm first. We're going to come over here to our plastic tool, which looks like this weird little squiggly line. If you hover over it, you will see that it will pop up the plastic tool or the X key command, so you can know what you're working with. You can see here with this layer directly, I can't manipulate it, right? That is because the plastic tool needs a mesh layer to work with, so that way it can help tell the computer what points to access of this drawing. So we're going to come up here and create mesh, and then apply, and there you go. Now you have this green film over it, which are all of these different little triangle points. Now this will help the computer guess where you are wanting to work with it. Now that we have this, we're going to add in the bone structure, but first you want to come over to your drawing layer and you want to put in a key here, which you can either right click and set key, or you can use Z. The reason you want to do this is as you are using the mesh layer, the computer needs to know what the mesh layer is connected to. So by putting the key there, it will prevent any kind of distortion outside of the mesh layer and keep them together. I like to set 2 keys just in case, because sometimes the mesh layer will forget that it is connected when I am working in the levels section here. You can use something called the function editor to do more precise animation, and the schematic layer to do more precise animation with it. You can see here the schematic layer looks like this. The schematic stage that you can work with is here. I like to think of it like a skill tree where everything is connected, but we're not going to get too much into that right now. I just wanted to make sure you knew where it was. Now that we have this all set up, we are still in our plastic tool here. You see at the top layer what mode it is in. We are in the build skeleton mode, and that will allow us to put our main points along the arm here specifically, and that will allow us to manipulate the arm when we go over to the drop down and click the Animate tool. So from there, we'll be able to move the points of the arm in different ways. So now it's all bendy. You can see that. And then let's say I wanted the hand to be more connected there. Let's go over to position, and we can position the hand where we need it to be. Now he has a very bendy arm, but we're going to back out of that for the moment. I'm going to go back to our Animate tool, and I'm just going to have his arm bend a little bit down here to start out for our starting position. We're going to right click on our level here, go to fill in empty cells for both the image layer and the mesh layer here. And this mesh layer is what is the thing that you see there. And then we're going to go to the bottom of our mesh layer and have the arm go up and bend this way. Okay, so you can see the arm is now wiggling like a worm. And I do have my onion skin turned on so you can see what the frame is to start out with. So if I wanted to see where it began, let me go over here. It began there and it ends there. And then we have all of our in-betweens that we can look at. And then you can do the same thing with the hand and create a mesh layer. But since I don't need to manipulate the hand specifically, we're going to just come over here, go to fill in empty cells, so we can see the hand in all of the spaces that this little worm is created. And we are going to set our keys for the hand. And let's see, we're going to come over here, have the hand be positioned where we're going to come over here, we're going to move the center of the hand to be right where I want it to rotate. We're going to position the hand there, rotate the hand so it's at the bottom there. So that's where the hand is going to start. And then the hand is going to move up with the arm there. So we're going to position the hand there. We are going to rotate that so it moves a little bit smoothly. So you can see there, they move together. And then here is another position. So let's position the hand there and then have it rotate again. And you're going to keep doing that until you have gotten the hand position to follow your arm. See, that moved down a little too much. So we'll, oops. See, that one moved down a little too much. Here, there's a little bit of a jump, so we'll move it out a little bit. fix that rotation. Let's see, the center there is going to be a good place to start. We'll rotate that hand up a little bit so you can see it, and then it ends there, and then I'm gonna rotate that there. So that's how you use these tools, these two tools in conjunction with each other. You can see it goes from point A to point B together with the arm. You can link these drawings together to move together on their own using the animation schematic, but that is, again, another lesson for another day that you can explore on your own. Once you have your animation all done, you'll want to come up here to render, and you can either export it out as, you can either render it as a fast render, which will render all of the frames that you have selected that you can see, or if you want to specifically select the different frames that you want to export out as either a PNG sequence, or if you want to import it out as a AVI, a sprite sheet, a GIF, you can come down here to this little drop-down bar, and you can see here it's there. You can even rename the file, choose what file location you want it to save, where you want that to save, and how many frames you want it to go from. So you can either say frame 1 to frame 34, or let's say if I wanted it to go from frame 15 to frame 34, you can change it and it will export it out that way. I know I threw a lot of information at you today because OpenToonz is a very beefy program and can do a lot of different things and give you a lot of options to be able to animate. So you can look up a lot of different tutorials out there to help you get started. You can go up to the online manual to see the different things that this program can do and read through that yourself. Or you can join our ASIFA community boards and ask different questions about this program, and either me or someone else in our community who is familiar with this program can help you learn to animate more in it. I hope you found this tutorial to be helpful, and I look forward to seeing all of the amazing creations that you'll come up with.